Welcome to more Gran Turismo 7 Specialtatin. Today we're featuring the same race, but in a different way than what I've been doing. In fact, it's in the classic way, just recording with my phone, off the TV, and well, there'll be a reason for that as the race goes on. I'll put it like that, folks. And also, this is going to be the last race I do Specialtatin on for my Mopar Time Wizard GT7 is a joke, the New Zealand account, because while I did other races with this account, 19 to be exact, this was the last race that was interesting that I did with it. So I've done these in chronological order, and I might as well continue. And what's interesting to the point of I'm doing it like this, so y'all can take it as you may while I'm doing it like this. But I mean, for now, the race is kind of going like that it has been, really. It's fairly clean-ish. Fairly weird ghosting. That didn't really need to be ghosted there. But I mean, all in all, there ain't really a whole heck of a heap different to warrant necessarily doing it the way that I am here. But this is still a turn I cannot do so much here as I slightly do better than the Ferrari behind. Remember, that Ferrari, as of this race, was new, so maybe the driver just wasn't super used to it, or whatever it may be. I've been the Viper. Obviously, I'm used to the Viper. And by now, I'm used to this race. Probably by this time, I've done this race 5 or 6 times. That Ferrari's still not so used to its brakes. I'll give benefit of the doubt and say that, yes, it's not used to the new car yet. And continue on. That was not an edit. That was the PS4 direct capture not saving as it should. So there's that. There's also this. I have a decent amount of experience driving that Ferrari because I did actually drive it a little bit for this race. The race itself was not particularly interesting, but I drove it a whole heck of a heap at Daytona Oval, which obviously quite a bit different circumstances, but still the same car. And I can say that car handles well and is loose. The Viper has a slightly better brakes, and it's definitely better on the straights. But the Ferrari does handle better, so there it is. Handling better. I was able to handle that hit better than some. But now there's a whole heck of a heap of hits that I might end up having to handle. The car in front has a penalty, so maybe it's not really going to try and battle all that much. It's going to be for not pretty soon anyway. We'll see on that. But as for the cars in back, too, I haven't raced a whole heck of a heap with. And, well, that happened. So here's the benefits of Specialtatin in an old-fashioned way, because I can analyze this. The car in front has a penalty. I don't know if it's deserved or not. 5 seconds is enough for all. I'll say it's definitely mad, though. Whether it's deserved or not, that driver's mad at that big of a penalty. So knocks the holy snikes out of one of the cars in front. I'm not sure if that was actually the car that was racing beforehand or not. And again, legally blind and recording this on a phone. So, yeah. But nonetheless, I really don't think that car had particularly deserved that much of a wreck. But because Gran Turismo ping physics being Gran Turismo ping physics, look at the BMW now. So that car in front of it, get the holy snikes wrecked out of it. Look what happens with the BMW. Now, full speed. The BMW gets pinged way slower. Like, the car in front was going faster than which the BMW ends up getting pinged to by, like, here. Even though the BMW was going faster than the Ferrari. So that's just ping physics being ping physics, and there was nothing whatsoever I could have done about it. Theoretically, I could have gone more to the inside, but generally speaking, if you try and turn and brake, bad things happen. So I didn't particularly want to turn and brake. As you can tell, still braking. Now I'm turning because that slowed me down. Again, full speed. So that probably slowed me down by about 10 miles an hour. So that's annoying, but honestly, it knocked me slightly closer to the apex, so maybe all things considered, it's actually going to work out well for me. I'd rather have a clean race and just race everybody fair and close and such, but if I can get around them two and get the positions, so be it, because that puts me in second place. I'll say straightforward, I really don't think I have the speed to catch the leader, but I mean, if I can at least hold on for a podium, I'll take that pretty picky good, especially if how the race started and where I started in the race. Can't really complain too much about that one, folks. And again, the car behind has a penalty, and probably even a bigger penalty, given he tried to wreck the other car and succeeded. I tried to do what I can to minimize the contact, and I would say succeeded. Again, I could have sweeped to the inside, but that's literally the only option I could have had. Remember how early in the race there was a Ferrari that like barely made contact with me in a braking zone, which is fine because again that car was new to the game at that point and it really didn't hurt either of us, and yet that went ghosted. Well, guess what, folks? You would think, logically speaking, there would be some ghosting, probably twice. It would have ghosted theoretically through the car in front there, and the BMW would have ghosted through the car in front there, and then just hit the wall, theoretically. Or if that didn't happen, at the very least, I would have ghosted through the BMW, you would think, because it's literally sweeping into me. Like, at first, it's a brake check. Or something. I don't know. Because, again, that's a big speed difference. I don't really know if that truly was the car had braking early, or the car most had braking early, or the BMW not braking. Hard to say. But nonetheless, one of those two cars definitely should have been ghosted. So therefore, it shouldn't have really involved me whatsoever, because if one of those two cars was ghosted, they wouldn't, and then this hit wouldn't have really mattered. And yet it does, and I still end up with the penalty. I don't even know if that BMW got more of a penalty. I can't actually really tell. It definitely should have, I'll put it like that. But instead, I get the penalty. So, yes, folks, this is one of the reasons, not even only, there's still some to come, but this is one of the reasons why I did a classic Specialtatin, because it's a classic Polyphony Digital penalty system and Polyphony Digital logic. Logically speaking, the cars would have been ghosted, therefore there would have been no chance of me hitting another car to begin with to give a penalty either way, because if one of those two cars had ghosted, the BMW would have went wide, so very far away from me. But nope. And, well, now, BMW seemed to be angry at the car in front or something like that. Again, it had a penalty before it. I don't know exactly what happened. And now I'm definitely mad at the BMW who's right behind me. Granted, it also has a penalty, but granted, I also have a penalty. I think the BMW's penalty is bigger than mine, and I hope it got another penalty from that wreck, but we'll just have to see, folks. We'll just have to see. The only thing that I know for certain is, unless First messes up, First has won this race already. That's the worst PD logic of it all. All these pointless penalties and failed ghosting and PD logic and all this, all it really does is just make the racing worse and more people mad. When it takes away from the good racing and it makes people more mad, thus they're going to try and make the racing worse. There's no need for it. The BMW probably should have just been ghosted throughout that whole situation and there wouldn't have actually been contact made. I don't know why I got the initial penalty, but still. Maybe even that car in front of the BMW might have been brake check, so maybe it should have gotten some type of penalty. I don't know, but nonetheless, I'll put it like this. All this did was mess all of us three up to the point of now we're just being mad at each other and all have varying levels of penalties. I can't remember if damage is on or not. I'll check. Oh, wait, yes, it is. I actually forgot about that. So also varying levels of damage. What a damn age we live in to where this real driving simulator cannot figure out how to deal with one of the most common races in the game. Group 3. At Lago Maggiore. Okay, I just had to take a breath there, but I mean, as of now, I'll be forced to take a breath, so it doesn't particularly matter. That turn still matters. I'm still terrible at that turn no matter what, and the BMW is still trying to wreck me specifically. Look at that, folks. Look at specifically the radar. Yeah, I'm turning, but look at how far I am from the apex. The BMW hit me. That's for sure. Yeah, I turned in some. I will say that. But I could have been a whole heck of a heap closer to the apex. Plus, the BMW also has a penalty, so what's the point in battling? I could have been a little bit cleaner there, but given how dirty the BMW has been throughout this time, to theoretically accumulate multiple penalties, it's not like I would really want to give it room either, because then it has a chance to wreck me. So, in my opinion, yet again, I made the right decision. But here, you can say as you may. The initial, I really don't think I was dirty there. I was purposely trying to give a bit of room there because I didn't want to get outright wrecked. Here, though, well, I outright trying to wreck the BMW. Go back a little bit there. That one, I did just sort of shunt with momentum. Granted, it doesn't even really look like the car moved that much, but I remember even at the time, I genuinely did have the intent to hit the BMW. Look at the steering angle. As you can tell, I go from steering a whole heck of a heap to barely any. So again, my car ain't really moving a whole heck of a heap, but still, I had the genuine intent to hit the BMW out of the way there. And then you could say this is just outright dirty, but realistically, I shouldn't be losing momentum in a few seconds anyway, so I'm going to call this even. Because as far as I know, the car that directly is behind me there wasn't really involved with this. So, yeah, if you want to call that dirty, so be it. I'm not really going to deny that. But the way that I see it is, one, actually where the cars were lined up, it's not like that car would have had a whole heck of a heap of room to pass. Anyway, if it's going to try and pass on that side, it would have been borderline into dirt anyway. So it still wasn't the best decision for it to try and pass. But even when it did, I'd try to get momentum from it because I'm about to lose it. So yeah, again, I'm not going to act like I'm the cleanest in the world or anything like that. But I'll say this, I'm definitely going to try and wreck the BMW if it comes back up. Because it's about the dirtiest car, I don't know in the world, but definitely in the race. Now, as of now, it ain't much of a race. But again, I already talked about that. Other than that car spinning, that was something. But beforehand, I already talked about it. All these penalties did was ruin what was a pretty good race. Granted, the BMW is probably going to try and ruin it with dirty driving anyway. So yes, again, like I said, the dirty driving deserved to be penalized, but like the consequences of others racing dirty around them, not so much. Arguably, the only penalty that it really should have been given is maybe I should have got a 1 second penalty or whatever from blocking the other driver, but I would have not needed to block the other driver anyway if it wasn't for the initial incident. But for now, honestly, it's probably to speed up, but because of the initial incident, that's barely any good racing for me. There's up there, and I'm not really sure exactly who's up there. That's not close enough to tell yet, but judging by the cars fighting, I bet it's that BMW still. Which is doubly messed up because even before this whole thing happened, remember it had a 5 second penalty and I only got a 3 second penalty from all this. So even before, it should have already had more penalty than me, and again should have got even more of a penalty from the subsequent stuff, theoretically. So, yeah, and it's still ended up ahead. So that's Pediologic on top of Pediologic on top of Pediologic, but at least another driver's trying to fight back, is what I'm going to assume that is, I guess. Didn't exactly work, but the BMW has a penalty again, so I guess we'll see how that goes again. Here comes this turn again, though, but I will give incredible credit. Look at the outside pass. That's talent there. Especially when you have a driver pissed at you at the inside, that's talent there. Good props to the car in front there of that outside pass. I would not have been that brave or that skilled. So now I should be able to get ahead of the BMW, and then now this might just go to more kind of smooth Specialtatin without the pauses and such. Oh wait, the penalty ain't actually big enough for it to matter. So now I have the dirty BMW that's pissed right by me. Great. Okay, I lied. Again, I don't script videos, and I only skimmed through this race, so sorry about that. I did technically lie about the not pausing or whatever, but again, I don't script, so I feel like that's still better than trying to do script or whatever, because it wouldn't exactly sound so natural, especially when this is supposed to be natural and unfiltered, and so doing it in a classic way. I backed off here. That's why I went back to show it. I could have tried to stand outside. Maybe if I went real deep, I would have just barely been clear. If I went all the way deep, I don't know. But I decided to play it safe, and knowing how dirty that car is, I just let it by. Granted, it's me showing both smarts, and I don't want to get dumped to the sand trap. That's a notorious error of drivers getting dumped in the sand trap. But also niceness too, because I could have went real deep there and then maybe been able to block it as well. So we'll see, but I mean, we'll also see how nice end up being as the race goes, because as the race goes, there's still, well, some of it to go, so we'll see. And there's still a car up ahead of it too, up ahead of the BMW. So I really don't want to get boxed in the middle either. So yeah, we really will see about that, folks. It's the final lap now, so now I have to at least do something. And I mean, there's just outright skill level too. Is even if I want to do something, I guess we'll see if my skills allow it as well. As of now, I'm even just, if anything, getting slightly outdriven. So as much as I might want to do something, maybe the skills won't exactly allow for it. But what I do want is them to race each other. Always preferably clean, but realistically, as this race gone, I'll have to assume at least the BMW is going to be dirty. But the more they race with each other, and theoretically the longer they're going to race for against each other, it would be clean. There's a dirty, one of them's going to wreck quicker, and there it goes. There's the dirty. It was purely the BMW side swiping. Obviously. It was obvious the BMW there. No argument made there. That was purely the BMW driving like a BMW driver. And there you go. And then there I go into it because it lost momentum from doing that. And then the next turn, y'all know I'm bad at as well. So this ain't looking too good for me. But again, this is me showing both niceness and again, actually smarts. Because theoretically, yet again, I could have gone a little bit more to the inside. And maybe I could have got clear and blocked like the last situation. But again, one, going to the inside means that I could get side swiped. We've already seen the BMW side swipe. And two, actually bump drafting it gets it right up there to battle again. It seems to be very slightly faster than me. That's annoying to admit, but it seems to be that way. So if I was the one trying to battle with the car that's ahead of the one in the lead of us three, I might not have catch them. The BMW seems to have a better chance to catch them and will wreck them. That Subaru, the BRZ doesn't really deserve to be wrecked, but don't go in the sand trap because that absolutely ruins the race. It sort of kind of backed out there too. Was it being smart and backing out, or was that getting sideswiped with a BMW? Hard to tell, but I will tell this. I mean, I'm still gonna try and get that position. I would rather not have to wreck the Subaru, but who knows what the BMW is gonna do? And then again, my driving, who knows what's going to happen there. Dude, I'm going to say that I got, like, downforce loose there from drafting and all that there. I just didn't have as much grip in that corner. That's what I'm going to say for that one and move on. As I said, though, annoyingly, while I don't particularly want to admit it, the BMW does seem to have a little bit more pace than me. So in hindsight, I think I did make the smart decision in letting the BMW stay up there, at least for now, because I really don't think I would have been able to keep up with the server, and if I tried to pass the BMW, it would then have its sights set on trying to wreck me. So we'll see how this goes, folks. As of now, it's going as I kind of figured. The BMW tried to sideswipe there, but is the server going to retaliate at the very end? A little bit. It's just enough to have me some room there for a moment, but then the BMW blocks, so that's to be expected. So now, choices to be made. I can try and pass on the outside. I have the momentum, so maybe. But if I try to pass on the outside, the BMW could easily just sideswipe me into the grass. So I go real quick here and try to go to the inside before he can go to the nose. Inside. Granted, what's obviously going to happen here is the BMW is going to go for the apex. I knew this going in. So I figured if I was on the outside, I was just going to get sideswiped. But if inside, that's not particularly good decision either, because BMW is just going to try and go to the apex and block. So, I mean, there's really no win-win situation here. But either way, I have momentum. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think I'm going to get completely clear by the turn or anything, too. But maybe if I throw it in there real deep, maybe I can, and then I can block. So let's see how this goes, folks. The BMW is actually being strangely clean. I guess it's just trying to prepare for the apex. I guess it's thinking there's really not need to try and wreck me if it can just hit the apex better than me. It has the preferred line for the turn. Because if it tries to wreck me, it could theoretically get a penalty, maybe. But again, I guarantee I knew coming to this point that it's going to do exactly this. And it's clear. It's really caught big and close. Now it's not. So, yeah. I'll pause that for a minute and then y'all can think of what's going to happen. It's doing the obvious thing that I predicted it was going to do. It's going to try and go on apex and block, but it is not clear. We are side by side. Honestly, I was thinking with the momentum that at least I was going to have a quarter panel or so advantage. No, we're side by side. That's going to be awkward, isn't it? Given Gran Turismo ping physics, what I assume will happen is, because BMW's going in there quite hard, it's going to knock me into the grass in a bit there. But because of the ping physics, I'll get knocked in the grass a bit, and it will get knocked wide a lot. That's at least my hope and my understanding of the Gran Turismo ping physics. So theoretically, if the Gran Turismo ping physics do as they usually do, I would get hit in the grass a bit. Maybe, just maybe, that would give the BMW a penalty, but that's extremely wishful thinking. And that will hurt my speed a bit, but if it gets hit wide a lot, it might still be about side by side with me at this point, but getting hit wide so much, it would have to brake to not go in the grass, and then I would have momentum. No, it just went ghost. It just went pig and ghost. So, this is what we've learned from Polyphony Digital. Early in the race, Ferrari purposely trying to be nice and just not understanding the car. That's ghost. Middle of the race, BMW purposely trying to, or probably even both of them, a bit of brake checking there too, purposely trying to be dirty. Neither of them are ghosted, and the victim gets the penalty, aka me. And at the end of the race, BMW purposely trying to be dirty, and then it goes ghost. Should it have been ghosted here? If the previous, all of those situations were ghosted, I could see this one being ghosted too. But realistically, no. It's I would say for last lap, this is a racing incident. The car on the inside is going to not have as good of a line for the turn. So theoretically, if the car on the outside stays on the outside, it's going to get momentum for the straight and be able to win anyway. So I wouldn't really think it would need to go ghost because like at this point it's racing. That's just how it goes. That's usually what happens in racing. It's going to be side by side going in last turn on last lap quite a bit. But no, it goes ghost, and because the BMW has the better line, I'm scared. There's nothing I can do about that. So yeah, folks, I can't remember if like chronologically this was the last race I did. I definitely remember after this race I didn't feel like doing any more races on this account. I'll put it like that. But this is definitely the last race I'm going to specificate on this account because I mean, can't really take much more of it. All throughout this race, getting quite bullied in the Viper. BMW doing the bullying, and you could argue that throughout the whole thing. And then, yeah, there were results. Granted, it could have gone worse for me, that's for sure. I mean, I think even relative to where it started, it didn't even do that bad. But, I mean, when it goes to the point of I'm doing this style of specialtatin again, you can tell something's up. And what's up is not exactly my driver sportsmanship rating. So then that's the correlation to the next one. Next will be my American account, but not my main account. It will be the all account GTS. That one is B driver rating and S sportsmanship rating. From what I remember, perfect 99 sportsmanship rating. So theoretically, I won't have to deal with such PD logic and all that. Theoretically, that's my hope. But we'll see about my expectations. My hopes are kind of mediocre yeehaw. My expectations are, well, definitely not.